Hello, my name is Dariusz Koc. I am from Android Technical Support team at Samsung Electronics. Today I would like to introduce to you a variety of useful features in the S Pen SDK from Samsung. Yes? In this presentation, I will first start off by explaining the S Pen and S Pen SDK. Second, I will talk about the main features of SDK that will make your application new and special. Third, I will tell you about the installation, the SDK, and technical support. Fourth, we will take a look at success stories for apps that use S Pen SDK. Lastly, we'll have some time to wrap up the presentation. First off, let's talk about what the S Pen and S Pen SDK are. Before introducing the S Pen, I would like to go over disadvantages of old input methods. Good examples are capacitive touch and pressure sensitive pens that were in use before the S Pen came out. With these methods, it was difficult to express details or to get a quick response. The S Pen was introduced along with the Galaxy Note and its new input tool that does not suffer from the disadvantages of old methods. For the first time, electromagnetic resonance input technology has been applied to a mobile device. Let's look at some of the great advantages of the S Pen. First, you can draw exactly where you want to and get a quick response. You can also check the precise pressure for input. Secondly, the pen is light because it does not require an additional power supply. It is also great for note-taking. The third advantage is that it provides a new user experience through the combination of the pen's side button, the hovering feature, and the pen gestures. We'll touch upon the pen hovering features later in this presentation. We just look at some of the technical advantages of the S Pen in terms of hardware, but special software for S Pen is more important. Yes. Okay. Lots of excellent features were introduced with the first Galaxy Note. Note-taking, screenshots, and detailed drawing and editing regardless of time and place. These features were made possible by the specialized software for the S Pen, combined with superior hardware technology. The perfect combination of the Galaxy Note's excellent hardware environment and the specialized software for the S Pen provided a perfect environment where people can easily create content. Now, let's talk about the types of application that we can develop when we take advantage of the S Pen. The first thing that comes to mind is probably graphics, memo, and planner application. To go a little bit further, you can also think of games that use precise coordinates and gestures, SNS applications that let you share content that you draw with the S Pen, note-taking, educational applications, and business-to-business applications. The S Pen SDK helps you to develop various applications specialized for the S Pen, such as those I just briefly mentioned. To facilitate development, it provides APIs and classes that allow developers to easily use various features of various purposes, processing actions and events of the drawing engine and the S Pen managing multimedia object, recognizing signatures and converting images. This is not the first time that the S Pen SDK has been introduced. It was introduced during the Galaxy Note release event at IFA in September 2011. With many features added to version 2.2 due to for release, it has been developing along with the Galaxy Note series. Yes. Now, I would like to discuss the main features of S Pen SDK. With the S Pen SDK, what can we do? With the SDK, yes, you can basically check various things through the APIs. For instance, you can check the current operation status of the S Pen input, coordinate information, and pressure. To give you an example, as you can see on the screen, you can apply different settings to pen input and hand input. By utilizing S Pen technologies, you can check information such as coordinates of the S Pen, even when the tip of the pen is slightly apart from the screen, meaning when it's not touching the screen. If you have a Galaxy Note 1 and the platform ICS, you can now check the hovering menu in the pen setting in the control panel. If you change the setting from off to on, you will see the hovering pen icon right away. On a side note, we have changed the shape of the icon here to make it more visible. You can see the hovering pen icon change according to the movement of the pen. The hovering pen icon was originally intended to guide users to indicate precise coordinates before the pen touches the screen, but it can be used for various other purposes as well. I will talk about this shortly. The S Pen SDK supports checking the side button on the S Pen. You could use this feature when calling auxiliary menus or context menus pressed by developers. Additionally, you can use it in hover mode, in other words, when the pen is not touching the screen. The S Pen SDK supports new APIs that support context-aware service. For example, on the Galaxy Note 10.1 and the Galaxy Note 2, you can check if the S Pen is detached from the device through the APIs in the SDK. The moment the user takes the pen out, you can show him various features that utilize the S Pen or display your recommendation. In the Note application, for example, you can make a new drawing window open instead of the conventional virtual keyboard. When the user takes out the S Pen, additionally, you can check the frequently apps specialized for the S Pen run as well as when they were last accessed. Yes? Let me give you one more example of how the content-aware services are supported. Through the APIs provided in the SDK, you can also check if the earphones are connected to the device, just like do it for the S Pen. You will see this in the moment. Okay, try once more time. Oh, yes. The moment the user connects earphones to his device, he will be given information about special apps selected by you, as well as frequently used apps. With the excellent CPU performance and wide screen of our latest device, such as Galaxy Note 10.1 and Galaxy Note 2, we have adopted multi-window technology to provide a new UX. Technology is a brand new concept in the mobile environment and helps multiple apps run on one screen at the same time and facilitates data sharing between them. In order to run multiple apps simultaneously, the user can select one of the three modes that is right for the size of his device and its screen. The three modes are freestyle window, split window, and pin-up window. The freestyle mode is appropriate for devices with a big screen. It lets you adjust the size and location of multiple windows easily. The split mode splits the screen and is helpful for interaction between apps. The pin-up mode is good for devices with a small screen. It lets you adjust the position and size of the window and keep it on the top of it. The multi-window technology also makes it easy to utilize and share data among various apps through the dragging and dropping. For example, you can move the email address to a recipient to the area of your email by simply running an email app and a content app at the same time and dragging and dropping the address. On the top of that, you can run an attachment app to add an attachment to the email while the email is displayed on the screen. The multi-window technology we just talked about is a very special technology unique to our devices. But if you use the S Pen SDK, you can utilize its core functions in your app. With the SDK, you can get a list of apps implemented in the multi-window technology. Yes. In Freestyle Move, you can run the apps. As you see on the screen, you can import a gallery from a drawing app to drag and drop an image without causing interruption for existing window. Also, editing such as rotation and size adjustment can be instantly. As you see on the screen, unlike in the existing Android system, no screen change is required for data sharing. So you can provide a more intuitive UX that makes the most of the wide screen. More functionality for the multi-window display technology will be provided through the updates. Yes, we can see it right now. As I mentioned earlier, you could use the S Pen SDK for the pen hovering feature that lets you constantly check the coordinates of the tip of the pen, even when the pen is not touching the screen. This is not all. If you combine the side button actions and pen detection feature, you can provide user of your application with a new UX, enhanced by hovering, which includes the moving and resizing of content and scrolling. Let me use the media player as an example. You can check help for each part without stopping the player, yes? Also, you can check the preview screen without stopping the current screen. As we can see right now. From the Galaxy Note 2 that was released yesterday, you can check the UX information and features provided through the various gestures that use hovering, the side button, and the S Pen. With the S Pen SDK, you can use the features for yourself as well. You can change the hover pointer icon dynamically according to your needs. You can also use the side button to call menus and features that you define. As you can see on the screen, the hovering feature makes it possible to create a new UX, scenarios where you can display various kinds of information on the preview screen. On the top of that, various gestures that use the S Pen are used in many actions in the Galaxy Note 2. Okay. Yes. The next core features of the SDK I am excited about are drawing features that let you create actual content. The S Pen SDK provides a canvas view, pen settings view, and eraser setting pop-up window. In canvas view, you can start drawing without going through any complicated step. All you need to do is to register in the layout of the application. In the pen settings view, you can easily change pen types, thickness, and color to be used in drawing. In the eraser setting view, you can use the eraser, thickness feature, and the eraser all features. You can also undo and redo. The S Pen SDK lets you access basic drawing features that you use the S Pen right from your application. All you need to do is to enter a couple of short lines of code. Let's move to this. My clicker seems not to work. OK. This is what I already said. Besides basic drawing, the S Pen SDK provides features for zooming in the canvas, moving the canvas, and editing background images, as well as features related to animation all throughout the drawing process. Additionally, it supports the input for external images and text objects, allowing users to adjust the size, rotation, angle, and location of image objects entered inside the drawing area. It is also possible to adjust property details of text objects, including font type, size, color, and alignment. Exactly. In addition to general drawing, the S Pen SDK provides various effects. This means you can use image filters to create 35 kinds of image effects, as well as a scratch effect that simultaneously lottery scratch tickets. Let's move to more exciting core features for data compatibility and content sharing. In the SDK, the Samsung Animated Multimedia Message Library applies rules to drawing-related data, such as handwriting, text object, image object, and background sound. APIs for formatting and managing data are also provided. If you use these APIs, you can save and manage all the information from the drawing process, and you can also share data with other applications that use the S Pen SDK. With the S Pen SDK, you can use many kinds of features. You can record and play animation during the drawing process. You can import files as well. You can also set tags in your applications to note data compatibility. You can even set background music. For example, you can send not only drawing information, but also music by adding it as an attachment. So the recipient can work on the drawing information and enjoy some music at the same time. Lastly, I would like to talk about some very useful and unique feature, signature recognition. Signature recognition is for comparing and verifying saved signatures with the new signature input to determine if they match. Voice recording lets you record your voice while drawing, note-taking, and animating. A simple example would be recording a lecture in a classroom while taking notes. So far, we have briefly covered several important features of the S Pen SDK. So let's look at the installation of S Pen SDK and development support. First, if you look at the download page of the S Pen SDK, you will see that it includes Java file with packages, classes, and APIs, dev guide, and documentation in Java doc format, and sample application with source code. You can download the latest version of the SDK from the Samsung developer site. If you have any SDK-related issues, questions, or comments that you came up with during development, please post them in the S Pen SDK forum on the Samsung developer site. On the forum, you can share information with developers who use the S Pen SDK. You can also post questions about issues and get answers. Let's take a look at some applications that were developed with the SDK. I recommended apps that Samsung created and built into the device, or those that you can get from Samsung apps. My Story, S Memo, S Note. Learning Hub and Video Maker are some examples. Without going through any particular step, you can get started experiencing the powerful features developed for the S Pen and SDK. For many more applications, visit Samsung Apps and check the special category specially made for Galaxy Note users. Lots of our partners companies have been developing and selling applications specially designed for the S Pen in partnership with us. Let me now wrap up this presentation. The S Pen will be continuously adopted in more core Samsung devices, and the S Pen SDK will be constantly improved with the more powerful and useful features through updates. I hope you enjoyed the S Pen SDK, and I would greatly appreciate for your feedback. Thank you very much.